Bam. We're back. So let me introduce you. Let me introduce to you our next guest. His name is Joshua Greenrock. Joshua Greenrock. So Joshua Greenrock entered television and film production in 2004 after graduating UNLV and with a BA in business marketing. Josh has worked on many classic productions, including the groundbreaking Ultimate Fighter Season 1, the Emmy Award winning Top Chef Las Vegas, the blockbuster comedy smash hit The Hangover. Josh recently won an Emmy for his camera work on The Late Late Show, Carpool, Karaoke, Primetime, Special 2019 in the Outstanding Technical Direction Camera Work, Video Control for a Special category. In 2015, Josh founded Rock Solid Production Group Inc. to bring his original show concepts to life. Rock Solid's main goal is to create original, compelling, and stylized content. That's just a little bit of Josh. That's from his bio. Let him explain a little more about who he is and this man of men's. Yes, brother.
Yo.
Damn, we got it to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
So I was just Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Christmas.
Yes.
So I was just reading your bio out to everybody, but that's one thing. Can you tell us about yourself, man?
Yeah, man. I grew up in Miami, lived a life down there, came out to Vegas for college, took over the school, joined the fraternity, met people from all around the world, man, like Sweden, Alaska, Hawaii, just really met everybody, took over the game, took over the school, and then graduated, didn't know what I wanted to do, ended up in television. First job, Ultimate Fighter 1, television history, pop culture history, and sports history. Forrest fought Stefan, put UFC on the map, never looked back, and then ended up going from job to job over the next 15 years, you name it, like working with Queen, working with Kevin Hart, working with Mayweather, the biggest names in the world, all come through Vegas. The Hangover won, and then recently I won an Emmy as a camera operator for the James Corden, Celine Dion, Carpool Karaoke Primetime Special 2019. So I'm super excited to see what the 2020s holds because now I got this Emmy, and now I can really start putting forth my ideas and what my passion is with the Emmy. Leverage the Emmy. Let's get it,
Mm-hmm. I love it, man. So tell me a little more about your background, like growing up, what brought you to Vegas, like the shift, the change.
All right. Growing up was kind of like I had two really unique upbringing where my parents got divorced. So on the weekdays, I was in the suburbs with my best friends from preschool and baseball games and Little League and all that. And then on the weekends, I would cruise to Miami where my dad lived and my grandma lived. And it was like wild Miami lifestyle. We were like Rick Rawson when I was like 8 years old, like boats and Corvettes and baseball card shows, meeting Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio and Dolphins games and the world's biggest go-kart track and video games and movies and you name it. So it was kind of like I had the Miami lifestyle and I had the suburb lifestyle. I kind of had two different upbringings at the same time, me and my sister. It was interesting. Now that I look back on it and I meet more people, most people didn't have that. They had one small town or one big city. I kind of had both at once.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool.
That's pretty interesting. So why the change from Miami, from those places? Like what brought you to Vegas?
So my Uncle Marty used to run these junkets every Thanksgiving where he'd bring all the old Jewish people from South Florida to Vegas. So the family would jump on and we'd come out here to see Aunt Judy and Uncle Arnie in Vegas. So I got in every school except UF, which is where I wanted to go in Gainesville. So it was between Vegas or Tallahassee, and I couldn't bring myself to be a Seminole because I was a guy, I was a Canes guy. And then my best friend from preschool got into UCF, and I was on the fence. UCF Vegas, UCF Vegas. And then my boss's dad at the time was like this old Jewish dude from Brooklyn or Queens, and he's like, "What, are you crazy?" He's like, "I wish I was going to Vegas." He's like, "Go to Vegas, man. All this will be here." He's like, "Go make a name for yourself in Vegas. All this will be here. All your friends will be here. All this will be here." So I took his advice, right? And I went to Vegas and ended up joining the multicultural fraternity. We took over UNLV, like I said, met everyone from all around the world. You know, big shout out to my big bro, Willie P, William Price. Like, really took me under his belt at the time, took me under his wing. And he's like, yo, I mean, this cat was like the homecoming king, the president of the fraternity, and the president of UNLV. And he handpicked me to be his little bro. And here I am, continuing the family, continuing the fraternity. I still meet with the new dudes and just really representing the family and being my best self, man, knowing that, you know, I got all these brothers and all these friends and all these people that want to see me win and they want to help me win. More important. So really, you know, use my network to become the biggest and best version of myself.
It's beautiful, 100%. Man. So my question, what I'm really curious to know is, like, through your life and what you've gone to, did you ever have this, you know, there's many ways to describe it, like the awakening moment, a moment where you took your first second breath, or like some people call it like being unplugged from the matrix in a sense. Yeah. Tell me a little bit.
I had two, and one was like the appetizer to the real one. So we were bumping Bob Marley, what was that? Natural Mystic. And I was like, yo, what is this? What is this? I never heard that album. All I knew was Legend. So it was like, oh, that's Natural Mystic. So I was like, yo, like mind blowing. Like, yo, I had to go get it. So then I became like just addicted to Bob Marley, right? Like everything Bob, all the messages, the music. Like really you're talking vibrations as well. Like what that music is doing to your soul, to your DNA. Yeah. You know, like Motown's a perfect example of that, right? So then a couple years later, I was on my way to a party. I think it was like Chris Glidden's crib, Matt Farler, the homies, right? And I'm bumping Chant Down Babylon, Bob Marley, hip hop mashup CD, song 1, We Don't Need No More Trouble, featuring Crazy Bone.
Yeah.
And not that I was a bad person, but I was a troublemaking kid. And at that moment, I had this epiphany. I had this paradigm shift. I had this complete flip. And I was like, yo, we don't need any more trouble. And from this moment forth, I vow to be a force of good and a force of light and a force of love. And I no longer want to be involved with any trouble in any way, shape, or form. And when I got to the party, yo, like super blazed, right? And then got to the party and just sat there on the couch and I was a different person. And everyone's like, yo, bro, are you okay? And I'm like, dog, I'm good. Like, I'm amazing. And I just remember that day was, like you were saying, the awakening. That was like the paradigm shift that really jolted me into this journey of insatiable learning, of high vibrations, of believing in magic, believing in myself, and really Fibonacci, sacred geometry, the secret, law of attraction, the physics, the quantum physics, the astrophysics, all of it, right? Like I like to call it being an ologyologist when you want to study all the studies, because they're all have their truth. And then when you combine them, you're like, yo, I didn't know geology and astrology and physics and chemistry and biology and history and anthropology and everything connects to really paint a vivid picture of humans and our souls and our existence. And it just really, you know, just the journey, bro. Here we are, right? What's up? Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. I've had some really interesting conversations with you when you were here in Toronto as well. They've just been phenomenal. So that's one of them. What was the second one?
Well, the first one was the Natural Mystic, when I just was like, okay. And then the real big one was, I mean, it helped when I read, what was that book, like Eight Steps to Enlightenment, Awakening the Buddha Within. And then I read Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist right after. That was big. The Secret was big. Your brother actually told me about The Secret. Yo. So anyone watching this, if you don't know, I met Aaron's brother, Yassi, in Vegas through a mutual friend, Joe Buggs. And we became day one brothers right there. And I've been on several like mystical journeys with Yas all around the world, yo. And it's just, yo, that's my brother and my brother and my brother. So it's all fam, it's all love, yo. So if you're watching this, yo, what's up?
Love it, man. So after you made that shift, after that paradigm shift and things happened, were there certain things that you had in your life that you had to change? Were there certain things that you needed to remove, certain things that you needed to add? Like, what was your life after that moment?
I would say it was more of a mind frame, of a mindset. And you know, they say that like attracts like, and the things that you are searching for are searching for you. So as I made that shift, all of a sudden now things started coming into my life that I always wanted, you know, or that I could start connecting the dots, actually moving forward instead of looking backwards, you know. And like, it's really, one might call it believing in magic, right? Believing in your power, whatever you kind of want to name, you want to give it, is like that moment of like, I'm creating this as I'm going along, and I'm going to start having fun with it and be super positive. When you're moving positively, check. All right, when you're moving from a positive place, you can move bold, because there's nothing to hide, right? So I feel like I was a troublemaking kid. I was always, you know, getting in trouble. Sometimes I got caught, sometimes I didn't, for whatever, yada yada. But it's like, I was like, yo, no more of that. Like, I don't even want to put that energy in the universe anymore, because I know there's a famous story about a Buddha. The Buddha met like this giant in the forest, and this dude used to kill people, and the Buddha's like, yo, it's never too late to flip your karma, start doing good, and be that force. And, yo, you know, I feel like that moment was the real moment that I was like, you know, I want to consciously be like a warrior for the light, and really, like, you know, vibrate high.
I got you. So then what, like, so people talk about the law of attraction, and they talk about being, you know, being positive vibrations and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's all theories and it's all ideas, but when you're putting in your life, how do you put it in your life? Like, on a day-to-day basis, what are you doing to actually make it tangible?
All right. So I guess, you know, anyone watching this, I'm sure, has a pretty good grasp on stuff. So every decision you make is basically, you can assign it a numerical value. And what does math teach you? Math teaches you that there's whole, positive, real integers, right? And what are the best ones of those? The ones that fall in the Fibonacci sequence. That is, when you see the Fibonacci sequence, everything from a atom and a cell all the way hurricanes to the Milky Way galaxy, right? So I feel like during your everyday life, your flow, you should be making moves that you can assign Fibonacci numbers to, positive, whole, real integers, right? So like reading a book, taking care of your health, being a good person, honoring your word. All this stuff is 1s, 2s, 3s, 5s, 8s, 13s, 55s, right? So when you have big goals and you're working on these huge goals, these are not 2s and 3s and 5s. These are like 240,752, whatever that Fibonacci number is, way circled out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, yo, going to the bar and drinking alcohol and gambling and driving home drunk, that's not a positive, whole, rational integer. That's more like the square root of, you know, 7. Doesn't really, it's not really a night, you know what I'm saying? It's not really something you'd want to aspire to. And then there's crazy shit. That's where free will comes in. Is like, yo, you wanted to go do something crazy? That's like the square root of -7. What kind of move did you just make? Right? Like, yo, leaving the bar drunk's one thing. Like, running over mailboxes, like, yo, screw root of -7. Watch out, because if you get caught, your life's going to spiral the other way. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like your duty with your free will to fulfill your destiny is to make positive, healthy moves every day towards your goal. And the goal that makes your heart kind of flutter and fills you with passion when you think about it, vibrating you higher towards the phi ratio, which is what the whole entire Milky Way galaxy is based on, right? It's like the mathematical frequency or whatever of the whole Milky Way. So that's where joy, love, gratitude, laughter, you know, peace, and just being a good person comes in to fulfilling your journey towards your highest and best self. You know?
I love that, man. I love that. Also, going back on what you were talking about before, and it really is interesting, because when I was a kid, I was a troublemaker, but yet it was almost like trouble would find me. Like, I'd be walking down the street, and then some guy would look at me, and he's like, I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to fight. You know, like, it was just constantly like, everything was just happening. Like, it's like, it was like, in my life at that moment, it was always negative and fighting and problems and trouble with the police and all this kind of stuff. And I'm always like, why is this stuff happening on? But I was also bringing it out, and I was attracting it. And the funny thing is, nowadays, because I shifted and I changed and I'm not the same, it's like, back in the day, because I was vibrating, because I was like the color red. And all the guys that were vibrating red could see me being red. So they would come up out of nowhere and we would fight. But now, because I'm vibrating a different color, those guys that see red, I can just walk by and I'm invisible to them. So I really like what you're saying, because it is true. You get what you put out. So the question is, what are you putting out?
Exactly.
This is one thing that I want to ask you, because I find a lot of individuals, when they start to get these awakening moments and they start to research, there's different ways of going. There's ways of empowerment, and there's ways that take you down this rabbit hole where the government and there's conspiracies, and you feel almost like a victim and helpless. So with all your reading, what takes you towards that positive turn? What takes you more into that empowerment turn instead of the victim one?
You can only control what you can control, right? So I'm not in politics. I'm not in the government. Like I'm not a scientist either, right? Like a lot of people like to say, they say, right? How many times you talk to your friends? Oh, they say. Well, I saw on Facebook, this 16-year-old kid is cleaning up the ocean. Like, I don't know, right? What do I know? I know what I'm doing, what I'm eating, what I'm thinking, where I'm at, what I'm wearing, who I'm with, what I'm learning, where I'm spending my time. Your life is like a pie chart. Yo, do the math. Yo, where are you spending your time? What are you doing? I'm 40 years old, right? Yo, look at my pie chart. How much time am I at the bar drinking, gambling? How much time am I traveling the world, right? How much time am I working? How much time am I watching Marvel movies? How much times am I eating dinner out, right? I don't know, eating at the Cheesecake Factory, whatever, right? Like, yo, like, do the math. Who are you? What are you? You are what you do. You can't make a reputation off of what you're going to do, right? Who are you? What do you do? And if what you put in to what you're getting out is not satisfactory to you in your life, switch the formula up. Yo, that's what God gave us, the power of any day, any second, any day to do what you want. And it doesn't matter if Trump's in office or Yang's in office or really anyone's in office or who the mayor is, and it really matters where your mind's at and who you're hanging out with. If you're the average of your 5 closest friends, yo, who are you politicking with? Iron sharpens iron. Like, yo, who are you learning from? Are they bringing you down? Are they lifting you up? Right? Are they schooling you? Or are they annoying you? Right? And I'm just really honored and proud and happy and just lucky and that I have a laundry list of good friends that I would call brothers, and they're all amazing artists and businessmen and entrepreneurs, and they're good dudes, right? So it's like we're in it together winning, right? Winners like to win with winners, right? Like, yo, like winners need other winners to win with. You know what I mean? So it's like, I like winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, you either win or you lose. So if you somehow lose, get the message, get the lesson, keep it moving. But like, yo, let's keep rocking, right? Like, let's keep it rocking. Like, what's up? Yo, you got this one life. Let's get it. You know what I mean? No one's perfect, right? But yo, like at any moment, any day, you can make the right decision. And we'll check this one out. This is going. Yo, your thoughts tune your heart, and your heart is your frequency that you're sending out to the universe. So if your heart is tuned to joy, gratitude, love, respect, honor, brotherhood, sisterhood, humanity, you're going to get that back, right? You're going to find real ones. You never have to remind a real one to be one. When it's in your heart and you're vibrating at that, you're going to get that, you know? So that's what's up, man. It's all about you, your thoughts, that inter-realm, that quantum realm, go inside, right? Everything is outside. Everything is, you need this car, and you need this meal, and you need this shirt, and you need this phone, right? But yo, shut it all off. You know, yo, big shout out to Shabbat on Fridays. Yo, I understand what it is. Yo, unplug and go inward. And it's about you and your family and your immediate environment at that moment. You know what I mean? Like, all religions have a day of rest, right? Like, it's so important to, like, go inward, you know, retrospect, reflect, really, you know, talk about it, right? It always feels better when you talk about it. The pieces are on the table. You can move them around. Yo, right, what formula is best for me, my friends, my family, to vibrate me towards my highest and best self? Yo, when I won the Emmy, there was so much synchronicity that weekend. There's been a lot of synchronicity in my life, you know, because some things must be believed to be seen. So there was so much synchronicity that weekend that my date to the Emmys was like, yo, this is up with the synchronicity. I'm like, yo, because we just shifted major timelines. You know what I mean? Like I'm on my way to my highest and best self. Yo, we're in it. The synchronicity, and it connects with the Fibonacci, you know, sacred geometry. Yo, if you don't know what that is and you're watching this, please go Google that. It will change your life. Sacred geometry, Fibonacci.
Beautiful, man. Well, I think it's really good, but then there's always this there's this idea of, well, let's put it this: when you've achieved a lot of great things in your life, and you're moving towards on a very beautiful way, but you are human, just like all of us. So when you feel negative thoughts, and if you feel emotions that are not vibing with you, how do you deal with that?
All right, like yo, it happens, right? You gotta take a deep breath. Like the word, one of my favorite words is physiological, right? Where the mind and the body meet, physiological, right? This thought's making my body feel a certain way, right? This thought is making adrenaline come out. This thought is making me the oxytocin, whatever thing that thought's doing to your body. Yo, you gotta be aware of it. Which is so like ever have a story where you're a victim, or someone did you dirty, or something happened you didn't like, and you keep telling it. You tell it a couple times, you need the empathy. You want to make sure you're not wrong. Yo, you believe what happened? Cool, empathy. Start telling it too much. Now you're a victim, right? Now you're all in on the victimhood. Now you're being defined by your victimhood, and you're giving some past occurrence, life, and energy that really is over and doesn't exist anymore. It might as well be a movie that you saw, right? Like it just doesn't exist anymore when you're living in the present. Right? So you have a bad thought, take a deep breath, breathe through it, do some Wim Hof. Don't believe everything you think, right? Like, dog, like, and we're conditioned with, we've had parents that have instilled things in us, and we've watched television, and, you know, like, we're, like, right? Like, but, I don't know. And then when you get a good thought, yo, rock with it. Sometimes when I'm feeling good, this one's wild. Clocks are linear, time is not linear. So sometimes when I'm in a really good mood, I'll send that positive vibration back to myself to another time in my life when I wasn't feeling good.
I like that.
And I'll be like, yo, don't worry, keep your head up. It gets better. You know what I'm saying? Like, think to myself when I was down and depressed. And then, you know, and then sometimes I'll send a message to myself in the future. It's like hacking time that way. Yo, let's remember the future, right? Like, as you're saying it and you're thinking it, if you start vibrating super high, that's your soul telling you, yes, not only is that the timeline that you should be working towards, but it's available to you. You know what I mean?
For sure, man.
As much as I'd love to be in the NBA, I don't really think that's going to happen at this point in my life, right? Let's be honest, right? But like, yo, achieving massive goals I got from me and myself and my friends, like, yo, let's get it. You know, what resonates with us? Let's go work towards that.
Yeah, I'm a really big believer in that. The fact that time is not linear, and the fact is you can speak to your past, you can speak to your present, you can speak to you can speak to your future. And I remember one time where I was having like a really deep down, horrible time in my life, and I felt just suicidal. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is it. And I heard a voice in my head being like, no, man, this is just the beginning. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, who is that? And then later in the future, it's like, I did that. I sent these vibes to my younger self. And I'm like, yo, that voice in my head was me today. So that means if that voice in my head was me today, that means I can send voices to me tomorrow. And I can, like, it's like you have this ability of, when you break through the idea of a construct of, this is how life is, and you're like, well, that's how somebody wants their story and their life to be. That's not my construct. That's not me. I'm like, what do I want? And then you reframe it, you rearrange it, and you create it. You break those ideas. So, you know, I think that's a very powerful and very great idea that you got there.
100%, dog. Like, once you go quantum realm, there's just no time. So it's like, once you're dealing with that laws of physics, then there is no time. So, like, what is time? Like, can you give me a mathematical measurement of when the future becomes the present becomes the past? You can't do it. It's like taking half a step to a door, you'll never get there. It's like a whirlpool going to a point that doesn't exist. Like, no, you're either only in the present, which is like the Buddhist way of being and being one, or you're kind of only in the past and the future, like constantly like on this it's almost like an immovable object and an unstoppable force. Like Buddhism teaches you to be the immovable object, right? Be one, be still, be within yourself, be a lake that is still and you can see and clear, no doubt. And then the unstoppable force is like your soul, your spirit, working towards achievement, prosperity, right? Like, yo, 100%. And like, that's a human being, man. Like, we're both of that combined. That's the yin yang. Like, your soul yearns for the cosmos. When you go see stars, yo, we have mad light pollution, but when you really go somewhere camping, I heard Morocco has it. In Vegas, there's a place called Great Basin, the darkest sky in the continental U.S. When you see the stars, you know that's where I'm from. That's where we belong. Your body's literally made from stardust, right? So your soul wants the cosmos and the infinite passion of what it is to be a human, and then your body is stuck on Earth, yo, in this 3D realm, third planet from the sun, third dimension. Shout out to Earth, yo, like. You're in this 3D realm, and it's like you can only move and do so much at a time. But the fact that the body does die is why being a human is so important and so looked up to in the cosmos by the angels, because we do have love and sex and food and beaches and sunsets and all the things we consider beautiful and the best parts of life. Like, not every soul angel gets that. Buddhism says it's an honor to be born. Right?
For sure, man. There's also there's an idea that my partner, she told me a while ago, and she's like, it's interesting, if you watch people, you know exactly where they're at. She goes, when you notice that people are moving forward, they're thinking about the future. So it's like where they're moving their spine and keeping their bodies telling you exactly what they're thinking and what they're taking in. I thought that was interesting. And your body is, because if you are a receiver and you're picking up frequencies, well, that means every time you move, you're picking up something different. I thought that was really interesting. Now, what I want to ask you as well is, okay, so you've achieved a lot of great things in your life, but would you say that you achieved it because you're lucky and you're blessed, and this is something that wouldn't happen for other people, or did you work your ass off for this?
Yo, everything that you have, you co-created with the universe, right? So you make your own luck. The harder I work, the luckier I get. Yo, when you're dialed in and you're tuned in, a gut feeling that you get in your gut is your future self sending your present self confirmation on that decision, yay or nay, right? Like, when you get sour gut, like, that's your future self telling you, yo, dog, I'm living through all the timelines. This one has the least amount of dope timelines. But then when you get that little burst of adrenaline and that little flutter in your heart, that's your future self telling you, dog, go for it. Like, dog, like, holler at that chick. Take that job. Like, make that move, right? Order that dish off the menu. Whatever it is that got your little heart aflutter, right? Like, go for it. That's your future self. Your soul's living in all the timelines at once. You know, your body's stuck in this linear flow, right? Like, your body lives this linear life. That's why when you dream, your body's in your bed, and your soul and your mind are through all dimensions, space and time. It's like nothing, right? Like 2/3 of you was on this fucking intergalactic, interdimensional journey, but your body's at home in bed? The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's what's up, right? Yo, like, you ever astral project? When you wake up, you're like electric, right? Because you're vibrating so high because you went up a little bit in the realms. That's why there's rules to this realm, right? Don't vibrate too low. You ever see like a meth head or like a crackhead? They all look the same, right? They're on, the little demon got them, and there's like a little demon driving the machine, right? Like their soul's gone from their eyes. You know what I mean?
So let's get back to then what I was saying before. So it's not that, let me see if I get this right. It's not that you're lucky. It's the fact that you create an awareness to be in tune with yourself.
Yes, exactly. Is what resonates with me. And like that, you know, intuition and impulse is actually very strong. Going with your gut instinct. Like, you don't know the answers to the question, just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Yo, 9 times out of 10, I'm either right or I'm in the ballpark. You know what I'm saying? And your soul knows, man. Like, you make your own luck, dog, right? Like, dog, if actually, me and your brother were talking about this on the train down to Koh Tao when we went on our December 21st Thailand, like, fucking journey, right? Your brother was like, everything's destiny, you can't change it. But I'm like, no. Free will and destiny is the dance. Because you can't sit on your couch and become Michael Jordan, right? But you also can't be, like, you know, a horrible athlete, and no matter how hard you practice, you can't go make it in that realm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you're always dancing with your destiny, with your free will, and it's and you fulfill your destiny if you're bold enough to make those choices and make those moves. 100%. Let me charge my phone. 100%.
I like it, man. So with the projects and the things that you work on, is there a certain kind of creative process that you have before? Like, do you visualize your goals, or like, how is it that when you get a project to work on, like for example, the one that you won the Emmy on,
Okay.
tell me about that.
So 10 years ago, I worked with Doug Longwill on Real Housewives of Orange County. Actually, one show right before that, we worked together on Ocean Force. Never really shot a camera. One time with Joe Guidry on Supergroup. So Doug taught me how to shoot. And then he got Jen Matson and Kendra Silvera. They got me on the Real Housewives of Orange County. Doug was the DP, director of photography. So 10 years later, 11 years later, he called me up. Hey, you're in Vegas? Yeah. Oh, you're shooting camera? Yeah. Because I stuck with it, right? Because I was at Time Money Network. Yo, I put the time in to make the money and expand the network. So 11 years later, I got the phone call. Hey, we need a local camera guy for James Corden Carpool Karaoke. I'm in. I love that show. And then I get all my boys on, right? So I show up that day. All my boys are on set. Yo, shout out to Bishop, Preston, Alex, Chris Anderson. I mean, I'm giving hugs and handshakes the first 10 minutes I show up. I handpick my assistant. Doug's there. We end up, shooting. The director dials me in. They, like some jobs is like that. I show up with my green tea. I don't know what's going on. Yo, dial me in. What's up? What do you need? And then it's a collaboration. Oh, I think I need to be on a dolly for this shot because the lamp's in the way at the Bellagio. Or, oh, I'm going to shoot, something like that. And then some jobs, some of my clients, they want it all. They want me to direct it, produce it, shoot it, edit it, pick the music, pick the talent. And, like every job's different. And like what you want as an artist, what you want is you want the creative control. You want, whether you're a Tarantino type director that gets the final cut, whether you're a big executive producer, that it's, your passion project, you always want that final say. You want creative control, right? As a true artist, someone, and plus, especially when you're passionate about the project and you really, and sometimes you just shoot for like a company like CBS and James Corden and you give them the footage and you put your camera down and then you watch it a couple months later when you're working on Hell's Kitchen and then you Google yourself at 3 in the morning and you find out you're getting an Emmy for it and here we are. Like that's the journey, bro, right? Yo, it's wild, yeah? Dog. It's the journey, dog. You gotta love it. Like, who knows what tomorrow will bring, right? Like keep being positive and really manifesting greatness, right? Like let's get it. Big bold goals, right? Like dog. Fucking dog, right? And then you have all these mystical experiences, right? It's like you start to connect the dots. You're like, yo, like the day before I'm going to the Emmys, I'm bumping a freestyle from 2010, and I'm rhyming about going to get an Emmy in a tuxedo. Like, yo, connecting the dots. What's up? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's make these moves, man. Let's win, right?
Yeah, I think that's great, man. I think I love what I enjoy is like when you tell your stories and you talk about it. It's like you're bumping into your friends, you're shaking hands. It's like you've grown, but not by stepping on individuals, but by growing with the individuals and giving hands and bringing people up to your level. So when you're there, it is love, it is respect, and it is support because some days you might feel weak, but somebody's got your back and vice versa. And I think that's a very, very good lesson for people to learn and to understand that like when you create that kind of environment around you. So that's why I was asking you before, when you started going into this world of the law of attraction and positivity, were there some friends that you needed to step away from and other people that you needed to move towards?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, how do I explain it? Like, the only people that are like mad at you for growing are the people that haven't grown. Because everyone that's grown respects the growth of others, right? And like at one point, like I used a sharpened spear analogy. Like when I was in the fraternity, we were all sharpening basically one spear, one giant spear, right? We were like this well-oiled machine where after you graduate and you go off on your own journey, like everyone has their own spear, and the best thing you could do is keep it sharp and keep it ready for when someone calls your number. So your vibe attracts your tribe, man. You just start gravitating towards the people that are going to help you win, and you form these alliances with ideally people that you would be hanging out with even if you weren't working and weren't making moves, right? Like when I show up to set, like Matt Kendall's there, Tiernan's there, like TC, like dog, like I'm working with, some of my best friends. You know what I mean? And then there's the people that you work with that become family, right? And then there's people that aren't in the game that love watching you win, and they feel like your wins is their wins. And I know that feeling when Ronaldo was in the band R&R for 20 days, when Ken opened up Jabaritos, like dog, like these wins feel like my wins. So it's like that's what you get when you hang out with people making moves, like you're alluding to talking about before, like like it just helps being part of that wave, right? Like it's like surfing a giant wave, right? Or like surfing some tiny little 1 foot wave. Like, bro, you want to surf the giant wave, but like, like that's where the homies come in. Help me, like, jump on the jet ski and take me out to the wave so I can surf it. What is it? Being loved gives you courage, and loving strongly gives you strength. So when you have a lot of love coming to you, you got courage, man. Like, dog, I'm going to go take this move because I know Yasi got my back. I know Aaron got my back. I know Will has my back, right? Or like, I'm going to go, like, and then when you love, you got strength. Like, I got to do this, right? I got to do this for my family. I got to do this for my kid, for my wife, right? I got to do this, right? I got to have the strength, right? And they work together, man. Like, love is the ultimate, right? Nothing's better than being in love. Nothing is stronger than love. The reason we're all here is for love. So once you're operating from a place of love and passion, and you're surrounding yourself with loving, passionate people, I mean, the sky's the limit, man. What's up? Let's get it. You know what I mean? Let's get it.
Is there like, because there's a lot of people that speak about love. Is there one form of love that we should all be chasing?
I mean, there's mad kinds, right? There's like self-love, right? And then there's like brotherly and sisterly love, like, like that, like even in the TV land, we call it production brotherhood, right? Like, we're working 12 hours a day. It's dangerous sometimes on set. Make sure I'm good, make sure I'm safe, safety third, But then there's like passionate, like, love with your mate, right? Like whoever you choose, there's like that passionate love, that like, right? And then I don't have my own children, but then there's that kind of love, right? That like unconditional love. I haven't experienced that yet. You know what I'm saying? Like the love that a parent has for a child, right? Like obviously I had my parents and my grandma and my great grandma and right, my fraternity brothers and my friends and all the beautiful women I've ever dated, right? And all that. This all. Then there's love of like the earth and right, like love of sunset, and then there's love like I love the Cheesecake Factory arugula salad, right? Like like there's like the love spectrum almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. I have love for that as well. Nice. Because what I find really interesting is a lot of individuals through movies and television love, and they're like, oh, so that's what love should look like. But the question is, it's like, but that's what their love looks like. That's how they love. You got to love your way. You got to define your love and how you want to love. But how do you do that? Well, you got to start breaking away from what people told you that you can achieve and start understanding, like you said, intuitively, what you feel in your gut, what you know you can achieve. And like you said as well, if you intuitively feel like saying something, say it, because you're only going to be able to build the muscle by putting in the action, which equals to it. Like you want to strengthen your intuition and your vibe and your stomach. If every time you're like, no, that wasn't right, you're going to weaken it. But every time you're like, okay, cool, well, that taught me something, and you move into it, you intuitively get to this crazy world that's just so, it's like my favorite saying is like, if you don't believe in magic, you'll never see it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I believe that this world is absolutely magical. And I even try to do things, even like when I travel, I pay for people's bills because I want them, they don't know it's me, but I want them to get up and be like, who paid for my bill? And the waiter's always like, we don't know. Because I
Yeah,
want somebody
like,
to feel that magic. I want them to be like, wow, maybe there is magic in the world. Maybe there is something. And that
yeah,
creates even more, right?
yeah, like that's how it works, right? It's like a tsunami, right? It's like, yo, what if, like I've been thinking lately, like, yo, what if like 100,000 people went to the Rose Bowl, but instead of watching UCLA played, we took like cancer patients and sick people and brought them to the middle, and everyone huddled around them and prayed and
Wow.
meditated that person was right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like what's really going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
man.
but yo, I love it.
Yeah, all right. So, because we're running short on time, let me ask you a question. If you could speak to your younger self, what would you tell them?
Well, shit, I tell shit even a couple years ago, I'd be like, buy all the Ethereum and all the Bitcoin. You know? Like, yo, all right, from that department for sure. We're like, oh, go be a DJ in like the late '90s. Like, yo, go be a DJ. Trust me, right? Like, I get these ridiculous contracts, you know. But I guess just like, dog, keep your head up, right? I mean, I do that now, right? I'm like, dog, I think back to a time in my life when I was depressed, when I was hurt, when I was confused, and I send myself back, yo, keep your head up. It gets better. Keep your head up. You got this. You're strong. You got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, your soul hears it. You hear it. Yo, like, time is nothing to your soul.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we're infinite beings. This body is linear. That's it. So you can hack that. You can not say I'm gonna hack. Yo, shout out to Dallas Houston. It's like, yo, it's not a hack. I'm like, yo, you're right, it's not a hack. It's like another way of defining your reality. Just like the Alaskans have like 25 words for snow, and the Seminole Indians have like 25 words for rain, because that's
Hmm.
your environment. That's where like language is power. Because the more you can define of your environment, not only are you stronger communicator, but communicating with yourself and your own soul, right? So it's like, dog, like I'm always like, listen to people's words, listen to what they say, right? Negative connotation words, positive connotation words, like, what are they putting out in the universe? Like, I'm big on that. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to manifest blessings. And like, just my mantra is, okay, do you have a mantra?
Do I have my own mantra?
Do you have a mantra?
I have a few mantras, but
All right,
yeah.
all right, all right. What's your favorite mantra? What's one of your favorite mantras?
My favorite mantra, the one I say every morning and night, is "May I forgive, may I be forgiven, may I forgive myself."
Okay, I like it. Okay. So my mantra that I'm on right now is, I am open to receive all of the love, success, and abundance that the universe has for me.
That's beautiful.
I mean, thank you. So I'm defining the whole entire universe as one that is overflowing with love and abundance. Like, yo, that's what's up, right? Like, yo, so when I'm sleeping, that's what's manifesting. It's like RAM in a computer, it's just going, right? Like, it's like bench pressing your subconscious. Yo, right? I'm open to receive all the love and all the blessings that the universe has for me.
Well, the
Like,
most
yo,
mhm.
that's what's up,
And
right?
I think it's good because like my other mantra, so I have two mantras. One because I know I'm going to make mistakes morning and night, but my other mantra is I prosper everybody and everything and everybody prospers me because I believe that. I believe the more I give, the more I get, the more I get, the more I give. So it's like
Yeah,
that interconnectivity of it. And you know what? The thing is, it's like, yeah, find a mantra, but find a mantra that works for you, like one that
yes.
really resonates for you. Don't just be
Resonates.
like, I'm a
Resonates. Has to.
fierce lion jumping over fires with eagle wings, and I like
Yeah, no,
what
that's
works for you.
imagery. That's like flash over substance. Yeah, or make
Exactly,
sure it serves you. I've talked with
exactly,
people that have older mantras. That's like, work hard, play hard. Like, work hard. Like, for what? Like, for what? Work hard. Like, you want to work hard? Like, the universe is your catalog, and you can call forth any energy you want. Work hard? Nah, dog. Work smart. Play hard if you want. If you play like that, play on, play it. But like, yo, like, what's really going on, right? Like, make sure your language works for you.
I love that because I really do like that you hit on that before we go because it's about progressive mantras, and people think a mantra is just like a hippy whippy kind of thing, but it's just like can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like there's limited mantras that individuals use in their lives, but they don't even realize that they're using it.
Yeah.
So it's like, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Give me your old dog. Let me show you something. Like we can do some really cool things. So yeah, man, I really appreciate you actually bringing that up at the end, because you're right. Our words create our world.
Yeah.
So what kind
100%.
of world are you creating? What kind of world? Because you only see what you're aware of, and you're aware from what your words, and you're like, anyways,
that's so like the 6 o'clock news wants to define your environment as this stress-filled fires and murders and rapes and all this. No, man, I'm not defining the earth like that. Yo, I'm defining love and happiness and joy and gratitude, and I want blessings, right, for everybody.
100%.
Dog's so important.
It doesn't mean that these negative things don't happen in the world, but it's not about looking at the negativity. It's about looking at the situation and finding the solutions that are happening. There's so much good in this world. So I could go on forever with you, brother.
Yo, me too. I love it.
But before we go, I just want to acknowledge you, man. Thank you. I've known you for years. I know you've been close with my brother, but we were able to spend time when you're in. And I just have to say that, I love the person that you are. I love your vibe. I love your energy, who you are, man. The thing is, you're just very true to yourself, your attitude, your experience, your way of seeing life. And, what I really respect about you is, if people like it, great. If they don't like it, then that's great. But you're not going to change who you are to be something for somebody else, because that's not what the game's about. That's not what life's about. And how you're constantly always progressing and moving forward. And you always want to give back to the other individuals that surround you. And that just says so much about what you said, because, like, I won't do a talk with somebody that I don't believe that's going to really say what they feel and what they feel and what they do. It's like, but that's you, and that's what you're doing. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, brother.
Yo, thank you. Love you, dog. Keep inspiring me. Keep inspiring everybody. Yo, much love, much respect. Happy, healthy, dog, New Year's, 2020s, beyond. Let's get it, dog.
Let's get it. Sure. All right. So before we go, one last thing. Where can they find you?
Oh, go to rocksolidproductiongroup.com. That's too long. Go to joshuagreenrock.com. Check out my videos. Send me email. Say what's up, or go to this Instagram right here, rock555. There's also a link on there. And yo, check out some of my videos. Tell me what you like. Yo, just blessings for everybody. Much love, much respect. Happy New Year. Yo, 2020, let's get it. Yo, the future's ours. And yang2020.com. Yo, Andrew Yang, that's my dude. I've worked with him, I've met him. Yo, America, this is our chance. yang2020.com after you go to joshuagreenrock.com. Much love.
Beautiful, brother. Love you, man.
Love you, doggy. I'll hit you up.
All right, sounds good, bro. Thanks.